nobody would help me. Like, I can't tell you, getting resources or guidance or like even camaraderie on a topic was a struggle for me in the beginning coming into the online space. So just being that for other people is part of my driving values and morals of my whole brand. So bringing that to the community feature, imagine I have a call once a week. People show up on that call. We have personal development conversations around books. Obviously, I love to read. Like, I'm well read. So let's talk about some of these concepts. Now, typically, there could be a struggle within that conversation that I hear and that I could help fix or diagnose or talk about. And when I hear that, I, of course, offer a conversation to those people. It's not a sales pitch, it's a conversation. And if
Yeah,
I solve the problem for them in that conversation, who do you think their next coach is going to be?
absolutely. That's the brand awareness.
Yes.
That's the relationship building. That's what this is.
Mhm.
It's all relationship building. I want to pause for a minute and kind of go through the comments here. I'm not sure if you have them up or not,
Mm.
but Susan said that she's grateful to you for creating this community, and she had to hop off. Christos said that he loved it too, but he had to hop off. Let's see. Sarah says so much of what you're saying is resonating with her. And let's see, Lisa says the conversations have been excellent. Thank you, Lisa. Love that. And Sarah says, does anyone else love Suzanne's bookshelves? Yes, because those are all the books you read, right?
Yes. Yes,
I love
yes.
that.
The to read file is usually right here. So there are books on community and conscious leadership. And I'm a big category pirates fan, category design, creating your own category for what you do, huge fan. And I decided a couple months ago that the combination of community and conscious leadership needed to be talked about. And I'm going to go there. Conscious community creation.
Yes, so good. In fact, you and I were talking about that when we were trying to figure out what the headline for the show would be. So
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of switch gears a little bit because I think probably, and you guys, if you have specific questions that you're holding on to, do not hold on to them. Go ahead and put them in the chat because this is really the time for us to kind of dive deep. And I'm certain you don't want just me asking those questions. So go ahead and put that in there. But I'm going to ask some technical questions. Okay,
Sure.
technical, tactical. Let's say more tactical. So how do you incentivize your members in your community? Because I think, let's say if some of these people that are on the call here some of you guys who are on the call may have a community already, and you might be struggling with this incentivizing, situation. So help us talk through that. Like, what are some ways to get engagement? So bringing people into the community that you feel are authentic.
Well, number one was, my community experts who I put a call out about 2 months into the community that I wanted to, bring experts in to partner with and help me grow. And about 30 people came to that Zoom call. And out of those 30, I ended up with 12 incredible experts. Now, some of these people I've known forever, some were brand new to me. And by basically sharing my vision for where I wanted to go, I knew that the experts I wanted would rise to the top of that conversation. And then, so that incentivized a lot of activity from the experts inviting people, engaging with their own people, sharing events. That's been huge. We have about 20 events a month in my community, and there's 240 members. So there's events to choose from for everyone. The other incentive for my experts is a business growth mastermind with me once a month, and growing their own individual businesses through this community was very important to me. I don't want you to come here and participate and attract and engage people if it's not going to benefit their individual businesses as well. As far as engaging community members, networking, introductions, having fun, the most engaged member every month is rewarded with either a workshop or some sort of special thing just for them. And I created that on a total whim because in January, one member who just might be on this call right now,
She jumped
she,
off, but I know who you're talking about.
oh, okay.
She jumped off
Um,
because she had to go.
okay, so
Yeah.
she literally joined the community, jumped right in, welcoming new members, sharing content, commenting on other people's great content, and her engagement was through the roof. And when I saw that, I said, wow, she knows how to do this. And I
Yes.
messaged her, thank you so much for being January's most engaged member. And as a special surprise, do you have a workshop you'd like to give? Would you like to be on my live stream series that goes out to 25,000 people? And she was like, yes, all of it. Yes, I want to.
Yes.
And so then she commented on that publicly, so I didn't ask her to do that, but by giving, I end up receiving. So that's the intentionality behind encouraging engagement, whether you ask for comments, you do surveys, how can I help? The other thing is if people are receiving engagement, they tend to give engagements, that law of reciprocity. So if you give engagement to people, you're going to receive it.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. I just see it as a giant giving circle almost.
Yeah. That's why you call it the go givers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. So good. Yeah. So one other thing I was going to kind of add to that, and this is just something that I had gotten from the book that we mentioned earlier that I thought was really interesting was, the author talks about different brand communities and how people just love certain things. So like you bring up this idea of winning a little something, little special surprise. You also talk about like creating badges and levels of engagement or whatever. So do you see things like that as potential for your
Oh,
community?
yes. There's a couple things in the works
Mhm.
for my community anyway, and having a consulting client right now that I'm consulting with a nonprofit on building their community, which I I never expected, but that's what's come from stepping into this role. My first community that was built in 1994, obviously before social media, was an in-person community based on the love of travel and going on snowboard trips. So I would do 4 trips a year to these exotic, amazing locations. And I'm not sure how I got people to sign up, except I had, a retail store at the time that was focused on that industry. I didn't have an email list. I didn't I think I printed a flyer and put it in the store like, "Hey, you wanna come to Switzerland with me in February?" And what I ended up creating was this group of about 30 people that if I announced a trip, they didn't even care where we were going. They were just like, "Next trip is where? Cool, I'm in." Like, it didn't even matter the location, where we were going. It was the fact that I was planning it, I was leading it, I was navigating it for them. All they had to do was pay and show up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I think, people are not thinking about community. Like when we talk about community these days, we're always about social media or whatever, but you have to kind of take it back to what does community really mean? It's
Mm.
people like you can create one anywhere. It doesn't even
Yeah.
have to be on social
Well,
media. So I love that.
Sandra's asking in the comments. She says she
Mhm.
loves the idea of creating community, but it takes so much time. And yes, it does. But I would say if you look at social media as a way to fill your Zoom room, if you are literally out there posting content, posting value, engaging with people, and you create a monthly Zoom for those people who like and comment on your content to show up and talk in person, that's a community. That's a
Mhm,
community. And that's
mhm.
shared values, shared purpose, and then shared conversations. And if you get people off of social media into the Zoom room to have a conversation, and I know that people who are in this room right now or listening to this recording, you're hearing me say things that you haven't heard on social media. And you might be like, I want to know more. And that's because you're getting to engage live with somebody. It's not scripted, it's
Mm-mm.
not planned, it's not written by somebody else. Like half of social media content is not created by the person who's posting it.
Oh, no, and guess what? Chat GPT, OpenAI, all of that, I know you guys are hearing about that a lot lately, I am. That's gonna be starting to take over that space too, so if it's about
Yes.
you being you and really you being here like we are right now, that's what Suzanne is describing is what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, so meta, right?
So,
It's
and
so meta.
you
So,
know,
yes.
you can use technology to your advantage. I'm a tech
Mhm.
geek when it comes to platforms and software. AppSumo is like my financial downfall, but I will say there's beautiful things you can do with AI software technology with your own personal input, and you can use it to your advantage, or you can use it to just be like everybody else. I created a whole workshop using artificial intelligence just to see if I could do it.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I'm wondering too if you would create a class for people about how to do that.
There is one coming up with an amazing artificial intelligence expert who's in the Idealab.
Did
His
I
name,
sign up for that one? Is that the one
I
that
don't
I
know, I
just
hope you
saw? I
did.
think so.
I
Yes.
hope you did. Darren is a
Yes.
Idealab member, and he is a rock star when it comes to creating challenges. He also creates all kinds of content about LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, and he's super engaging. And it's a 2-hour workshop, totally free, all about how to use the AI software and how to ask good questions and get it, to create content that can actually use.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, we're going a little off topic, but I got to tell you guys, this is definitely, you know what? Let's do this right now. Let's
Yeah.
pop into the chat and also Jenny on social media. Go ahead and pop into the chat the link to join Suzanne's free community because that's where they can get access to this workshop that I know I
Yes.
just signed up for this. So I'm really excited about it. And I have seen this before. There was somebody very recently that I watched him do a workshop, different purpose, but literally when you see how to do this, it's amazing and scary and it makes me feel all kinds of ways, but at the end of the day, if it cuts down the time for you to brainstorm what you need to say, you
Mhm.
just use that content then to create your like put your own spin on things, put your
Yes.
own personality into it. For me, it is becoming a tool that just is going to decrease the amount of time that I spend writing anything. Like, I mean, meaning content creation, like what's my ideation process. So I really highly, recommend you guys doing that. Larry asked, is it Darren Gibb?
Yes.
Yes. Great. Let me just back
So
up here. Oh, go ahead.
oh,
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, technology is part of today's world. And, that's part of the discussions I have about community is how to do it. As far as, do you need your own platform? Do you need a members area? Do you need a course to go along with it? Do people have to log into this? And there's so many questions around technology in general for community. And my answers are different for everyone, depending on what type of community, who's the client, you know, one of my ideal clients is dentists because of a 20-year career in dentistry. I happen to be an awesome business coach for them. I'm an awesome life coach for them. I create awesome cultures within the dental space, but I don't talk about that on social media. Why? Because my clients, those dentists are not on LinkedIn. 9 out of 10 times, they're just not there. So I had to figure out how to engage with them in a different way. And I did that, and it's been amazing. And I think when it comes to technology, that it gets intimidating for people. Like, how do I do it? And I just want to stress that community can be as simple as getting people into your Zoom room, 3 people. Start with 3 people around a common topic.
I love it. I love it. And I like that you started to talk about the tech side of it. Is that something that people can reach out to you for? Because I know we talked about you're going to do this workshop. So does
Mhm.
that include that kind of like technology that people will need to use to create their community? Can you speak to
I'm
that?
I'm not sure about that aspect of it. The workshop I created is all about using social media to grow your community, whether it's, taking those likes and those follows and comments and turning them into actual community members and engaged people.
Hmm.
That's what my workshop is about. But as
Okay.
far as technology questions, all day long, totally fun for me. Message me, love to chat about technology.
Yeah. In fact, take her up on that, you guys, because she is amazing when it comes to thinking
Thank
through that
you.
sort of thing.
Thank
And
you.
then, and I'm going to shout one other person out, which I did earlier today. Carolyn showed us really good too with that, you guys, when we're talking, she's like, what? She just woke up, woo, because she's really good on the side of bringing people down that sales funnel. So really good resources here for you to reach out to. And then I want to just kind of sum up by saying, well, a couple things. One, I'd like for you to just briefly talk about how people need to be thinking through their brand when it comes to building the community, because what you just said about the dentists not being people that are on LinkedIn, like you had to shift how you reached your ideal client, but you knew your ideal client. So how does that pan out for you in creating this community?
Well, coaches for the most part, which is my micro community, they're on social media. But the
Hmm.
most successful coaches who I have followed for numerous years don't post on social media that often. And this intrigued me. And I said, well, how do their clients come to them? So I went down the rabbit hole with 2 of my favorite coaches, Rich Litvin and Steve Chandler, and found out very quickly that it was through live videos, coaching videos, workshops, YouTube, and it was from being with them in a room like this, watching them coach, watching them speak, that they actually grew their client list, not from posting on Facebook or LinkedIn. And I was like, all right, well, how do they get people in the room? And it literally came down to, in the beginning of both of their coaching journeys, they were unafraid to coach people more successful financially or bigger name people than them. They were willing to be bold, they were willing to be fearless. And I look at my own community the same exact way. I go for people I want in the community. Of course, if people join, love to have you. But it's very clear that I go after the people that I want, the people I want to speak, the people that I'm interested in hearing. And to make a community work at scale, your members need to feel that they have the autonomy to do that also. So Melissa, if there's somebody you love, somebody you are totally respecting and digging their content and their value, I give you the autonomy to go and invite that person. And
Mhm.
that release of control of the environment, ooh, it's a little scary sometimes. But when you fully embrace that, it's like the whole world opens up to you. And people are so much more receptive than you think when you reach out to them.
Yes. Yes, they are for sure. Well, very cool. Guys, do you have any other questions? I'm not seeing a link in the chat, Jenny. I know you say you posted it, but I'm not seeing it. Does
I
everybody,
see it.
you
I
see
see
it?
it.
How come I
Mhm.
don't see it? That's so weird. Well, as long as you all are seeing it,
Yeah,
that's great. I don't know, for some weird reason, I'm not seeing it. And anyway, so let me know, is there anything else, like any kind of resource? I mean, I mentioned the book about belonging to the brand. Are there any resources, tools,
my goodness.
books, anything you want to talk about right now?
Yes, well, Ruben, one of my new connections who was introduced to me, he has an amazing software that I'm just diving
Ooh,
into, and he put all of his stuff in the comments, and I'm looking forward to, wink, wink, him being a community partner and offering his software to our members.
oh my
Hint,
gosh,
hint,
amazing.
Ruben, he doesn't even know that yet. I didn't even ask him.
I love that.
Public
On the
shaming
fly.
works well.
Yes.
And I would say my favorite book on community is a book called Belong by Ragda Argarel. She started a community called Daybreaker, and it's a networking group that meets at 6 a.m. with a dance party. And you don't get
What?
much more unique than that.
You
Started
do
in New
not.
York City, and then she is literally in 20, 30 cities all around the world. And
What?
her events get 100 or 200 people. And when I read the book, it was my first book on community, and it just broke down the neuroscience behind why humans are wired for community, and it made sense to me.
I love that. And that's so part of you because of the positive
Mhm.
psychology that's part of your expertise. So I love
Yeah.
that. Amazing. All right, you guys, this is kind of, we're wrapping up here. I would love it if you have any other questions to put them in the chat. We are going to stop the live here in a moment. So if you have a question that you prefer to ask offline, definitely we can stick around for that. Let's see. Carolyn has said, I'm going to be looking into Ruben's thing for sure. CRMs are coming up in her traffic school, so she needs
Mm.
to know what to recommend. I love that.
Oh,
And
well,
Ruben, thank
I
you.
am happy to talk about CRMs anytime. I've only used about 15 different ones, so happy
Right?
to discuss anytime.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, guys, this is it. And I love that you showed up live. I so appreciate that. Again, for those of you that did not get into the Zoom room with you, you have plenty of opportunities to do so. We're going to drop that link into the chat here as well as on social media. Jenny, if you can go ahead and put that on the live here so that the next time we meet, which is going to be in about a couple of weeks, we're going to be this on February 20th. We're going to be talking about emotion code, which is a interesting topic. Do you know about emotion code?
I do. That's super. I
Yes.
can't wait. I'll be here for that one.
Oh, yeah. It's so fascinating. And my guest is going to talk about how you can actually create a better coaching business and things like that when you get rid of those negative emotions that are tying you down. So I'll be announcing that soon. But in the meantime, thank you so much for coming, Suzanne. It has been an honor and a pleasure. And I hope you guys got as much out of this as I did. Every time I talk to Suzanne, it's amazing.
Um,